You're just starting to learn the cello and you're really struggling with a tight pressing thumb. Look, this is one of the top comments I get in my social media videos as well as my YouTube channel, so let's break this down a little bit. The first thing you need to know is that your bow stroke operates from a system arm, hand, fingers down. If you're thinking about operating everything from the hand, you're going to have problems, and you're especially going to have that tight squeezing thumb. So what does this mean? Well, basically, if you were to hold your bow with a fist and then just rest it on the string, you know, if you were sort of similar to if you're just going to rest your arm on your leg, right? You hold the bow, you rest your arm on your leg. Now rest your arm on your string. Don't press, don't try to balance, just plop it there. Now pull the bow to the side. And you get a really nice sound as long as your hair is actually like not up here or something like that, right? So try that again. Place your arm on your leg, place your arm on the string, natural arm weight, not pressed, not held, just plop it and pull. You get a great sound, right? So your natural arm weight is doing the work of pulling the string and getting it going. You can think about your hand as the steerer, right? The steering wheel, and your thumb should be on a swivel. So let's isolate where in the thumb should be making contact with where on the bow, because if you get this wrong, then you're gonna have some problems. I'm a big fan of visuals, so if you'll see, I put some hot pink marker on the inner corner of my thumb around where the nail touches the skin, okay? So this point on your thumb is where your thumb is making contact with the bow. Now let me show you where it's making contact on the bow. See this little space in between the bump here and the grip. That inner corner is going to touch that middle space. It's not going to poke through, and it's not going to be locked. It's the natural bent shape, slightly rounded shape with loose joints of your thumb is just gonna touch there, and this is how you can swivel your bow hand for steering, okay? If you're trying to make contact like this, ouchie, that's like a locked out tight thumb. What you want is that side. And then you can practice sort of tapping pinky to finger and notice that swivel. This is how you get that flexible hand and not that tightened out locked thumb. Okay, so at this point you might be thinking, yeah, I already know all this and I still have a locked tight thumb when I play. So let's continue down this path here. So we've established where the thumb's making contact, where the thumb goes, and then you go to play and boom, everything feels tight. Well, I think why this happens is because adult beginners are trying so hard to maintain the bow hold shape that they are taught that they're gripping the bow very hard with their hand, which is sort of negating the natural arm weight that would be coming if your hand was looser. Now, this can happen if you're just trying to do everything too soon, right? If you just picked up the cello and you just learned the bow hold shape and now you're trying to go play notes on the cello, odds are you're either going to collapse or you're going to squeeze so hard to maintain your bow that now you have a tension problem, which leads to a sound problem. Here's what I do for my beginner students. One, they don't even start on the bow, they start on a dowel stick. They learn the bow hold shape, they do several exercises on the dowel stick to strengthen their hand. Then they can practice their bow hold shape on the bow, and they do those same exercises to strengthen their hand that I have them do for weeks. Actually, I'm kind of a stickler about it. They start doing some, you know, essentially my bow training program. Then when it actually comes time to go to the string, they often don't start down at the frog. I have them slide their bow hold up here, and it is a lot easier to balance the weight of the bow if the weight's distributed on both sides versus all on one side. And so I have them sort of get that feeling where you don't need that much pressure. So go ahead and try that. You place your bow hold shape on and then slide it up and then just gently rest it on the string. Not held, not forced, just plop it there and pull. And notice that it might be easier to maintain that bow hold shape. Another thing I have my beginner cello students do is when they're first putting the bow on the string, I don't have them do it independent with the right hand. Oftentimes they just don't have the stabilizing muscles to maintain their bow hold shape. So I have them do their bow strokes with two hands where the left hand is supporting the weight of the stick And then they can just practice maintaining that swivel thumb versus a pressing thumb. And then they can practice feeling that natural arm weight, and they can practice sort of pouring that natural arm weight into the contact point, and have them practice with 2 hands. Then over time we sort of wean off of the support, and they kind of further develop the bow stroke in a way to where they're not starting with that tension from the beginning because they're just trying so hard to hold the weight of the bow with the bow holds. If you're having a tense squeezing thumb, go through this video and just try each step along the way. Make sure your thumb is making the right contact with the bow. Practice this swivel, practice the natural arm weight. Maybe try to put the bow hold up here for a while and practice your bow stroke with the assisted hand as well. So I hope this helped answer why you may be struggling with a tight or tense thumb in your bow stroke and gives you some things to think about and try to help solve that problem. If you want my bow system for yourself, you can get a bit of an overview in my free blueprint for the adult beginners linked to this video, or if you want the actual detailed multi-video step-by-step system with feedback and visuals and practice checklists and more, you can check out my course Cello Foundations, which is a guided start for adult beginners. It's opening August 1st. There are limited seats that are already filling up, but I'd love to have you if you are wanting to learn the cello for the first time, do some habit correcting, or have a great supplement to your cello lessons, so you can always go back to those foundations. You can check it out at the link in this video. That's all I've got for you guys this week. If you want, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a video, and leave a question in the comments and I'll get back to you. See you guys next time.